Ever wonder why INTJs seem so mysterious or hard to read? It's not that they're trying to be elusive. It's just that their minds work differently than most. People often misunderstand this personality type, but they want you to understand them. You might think they're distant or unfeeling, but let me tell you a secret. Beneath that cool exterior lies a passionate, loyal, and visionary soul. In this video, we'll reveal 8 things that make INTJs misunderstood, and they want you to understand their inner world. This video will redefine your perspective on INTJ personalities because we'll learn about their traits, mindset, cognitive functions, and almost everything. Trust me, this is your shortcut to cracking their misunderstanding sides. So stick with me. You'll learn what makes INTJs such brilliant minds and why understanding them could transform your relationships. Hit subscribe now, and let's get started. Number 1. Plans aren't just helpful, they're essential. If you truly want to understand an INTJ, start here. Plans are their lifeline. For an INTJ, life without a plan feels like driving through a foggy road with no GPS. They map out their days, weeks, and sometimes their entire future like a chessboard, carefully considering every move before it happens. Spontaneity? That's for thrill seekers. INTJs are strategists, always thinking 3 steps ahead and crafting pathways that align perfectly with their goals. Imagine spending all that energy plotting a course, only for someone to cancel or disrupt it last minute. It's not just annoying, it's exhausting. Canceling plans doesn't just waste their time, it drains their mental reserves. They might not say it outright, but don't be surprised if they suddenly grow distant. Think about it. In a world of chaos and unpredictability, isn't having a plan a kind of superpower? For INTJs, it's their way of finding clarity in the noise, of ensuring every decision serves a purpose. It's not about control, it's about efficiency. Therefore, stick to the plan if you value your connection with an INTJ. Follow through. Show them you respect the effort they've put in. And who knows, you might even learn something from their unwavering commitment to structure. And whether you're someone who thrives on going with the flow, here's a thought. Maybe blending their structure with your spontaneity could create the perfect balance. Isn't that worth considering? Number 2. Small talk feels like a slow-motion torture. Let's not sugarcoat it. INTJs and small talk go together like oil and water. They just don't mix. Picture this. Someone cheerfully asking, "How's the weather?" while the INTJ's mind is racing with thoughts like, "Why are we discussing clouds when there are galaxies to explore?" Small talk doesn't just bore INTJs, it drains them. Every shallow question feels like trudging through quicksand, pulling them further from meaningful interaction. What they crave, what truly makes them come alive, are deep, thought-provoking conversations. Ask them how they tackle a societal issue or share a bold new idea, and you'll see their eyes light up like a starry night sky. For INTJs, meaningful dialogue isn't just communication, it's connection. Here's something to think about. Isn't life too short for surface-level chatter? While small talk might serve as a social bridge for some, INTJs see it as a detour. They'd rather dive straight into the ocean of ideas, where words carry weight and conversations leave lasting impressions. This is why next time you find yourself talking with an INTJ, skip the filler. Ask about their thoughts on innovation, philosophy, or their vision for the future. You might just find yourself pulled into a conversation that changes the way you see the world. And hey, if you're someone who loves casual banter, here's a challenge. Could you blend your lightheartedness with their depth? Maybe, just maybe, you'll both discover something extraordinary in the exchange. Number 3. They're not cold, they're laser-focused. The third thing INTJs want you to know is they're just intensely focused. Picture this. You're sharing a heartfelt story, and the INTJ in the room looks like they're solving a Rubik's Cube in their mind. It's not indifference, it's calculation. While others might jump in with emotional reactions, they're already analyzing the situation and figuring out how to make it better. That blank expression? It's their version of a brainstorming session. They're not ignoring your feelings, they're just wired to prioritize solutions over sympathy. Think of it this way. While the world gets swept up in the latest drama, INTJs are quietly mapping out strategies to resolve it. That's how they show love, in action, not theatrics. It's not about being aloof, it's about caring conveniently. INTJs are like architects of emotional blueprints, building resolutions instead of adding fuel to emotional fires. Therefore, the next time you think an INTJ is too reserved, consider this: isn't there value in someone who doesn't get lost in the noise, someone who stays grounded and works toward solutions? And if you're someone who thrives on outward displays of emotion, ask yourself, could their quiet focus complement your expressive nature? Together, you might find a perfect balance between feeling deeply and solving effectively. That's a partnership worth exploring, don't you think? Number 4, they like criticism when it is logical. The fourth thing about INTJ? They appreciate constructive criticism. Seriously, bring the heat. They want to get better, not stay comfortable. If you spot a flaw, point it out. They'll thank you, as long as your critique comes with logic and actionable insights. But here's the thing: if your feedback is driven by emotions or vague opinions, it's like static on a radio, immediately tuned out. INTJs need clarity. They need facts. Tell them what's wrong, why it matters, and how they can improve, and they'll absorb it like a sponge. Imagine this: you're helping an INTJ friend perfect their presentation. Instead of saying, "I just don't like it," try, "Your visuals are solid, but the data could be clearer. Maybe simplify the charts?" That's the kind of input they value: specific, thoughtful, and grounded in reason. Constructive criticism fuels their relentless drive for growth, but emotional critiques? They're like empty calories, unsatisfying and forgettable. So, the next time you feel hesitant to offer feedback to an INTJ, remember this: they welcome it. Your perspective could help refine their ideas or sharpen their execution. And if you're someone who struggles with giving criticism, here's a tip: frame it as collaboration. Together, you can turn rough edges into polished brilliance. Doesn't that sound more rewarding than holding back? Number 5, they are highly independent, not antisocial. INTJs need space like plants need sunlight. The fifth thing to know is they recharge alone, not because they don't like you, but because solitude fuels them. Imagine a quiet Saturday morning, a steaming cup of coffee, and the perfect book or project waiting for them. That's their happy place. It's not loneliness, it's their version of self-care. Fun fact: many INTJs dream of weekends spent mastering strategy games, diving into deep work, or exploring big ideas. It's not about avoiding people, it's about refueling their mental energy so they can show up at their best. Think of it like this: just as a phone battery doesn't work well on 1%, neither do they without their alone time. And if you ever catch an INTJ in full-on retreat mode, don't panic, it's not personal. They're simply resetting their minds. Honestly, isn't it refreshing to know someone who values their own time as much as yours? So, if you want to connect with an INTJ, give them the room they need. They'll appreciate your understanding and come back more focused, energized, and ready to dive into the conversations and activities that matter most. And hey, maybe try their idea of fun one day. A little quiet, a little strategy, and a lot of mental clarity might just surprise you. Number 6, perfection isn't optional, it's the standard. Let's get one thing straight: INTJs aren't nitpickers, they're perfectionists with a purpose. Whether it's designing a project, nurturing relationships, or mapping out life goals, they aim for nothing less than the best. Good enough? That phrase doesn't exist in their vocabulary. Imagine baking a cake, and someone suggests skipping the frosting because the cake tastes fine. No way! For them, the frosting is just as important as the layers. They want every detail, every piece, to align perfectly, creating something exceptional. Sure, this drive for perfection might come off as intense, but it's because they believe there's always room for improvement. Now, here's what they need from you: join us in this pursuit of excellence. Be their teammate in aiming high. And if striving for perfection isn't your thing, that's okay too. Just don't ask them to settle. Settling feels like wearing shoes that are half a size too small, uncomfortable, unnecessary, and something they'll avoid at all costs. Instead, embrace their desire to refine, push boundaries, and make the ordinary extraordinary. Who wouldn't want a partner, friend, or colleague who's always chasing greatness? Sure, they can laugh at their quirks and perfectionist tendencies, but deep down, you know something is inspiring about refusing to accept mediocrity. So, are you ready to dream big and execute even bigger? Number 7. Loyalty isn't a word, it's a commitment. Here's the deal, INTJs take loyalty seriously. It's not just a casual, surface-level promise for them, it's a lifelong commitment. Think of their trust like a secret vault. If you've earned a place in their circle, it means you've passed a series of unspoken tests. They don't hand out trust like party favors, it's reserved for the rare few who truly get them. Once you're in, though, you'll find their loyalty runs deeper than the ocean. They'll show up, stand by you, and even anticipate your needs before you ask. But, and this is a big but, break that trust, and it's game over. They're not the forgive and forget type. Once the bridge is burned, it's gone. This might sound harsh, but it's not about being unforgiving, it's about valuing integrity. Loyalty for an INTJ isn't something to play with, it's sacred. They invest in relationships like architects designing skyscrapers, carefully, with purpose, and always thinking long-term. And let's be real, isn't it refreshing to know someone who doesn't take trust lightly? Therefore, if you're lucky enough to be in an INTJ's inner circle, treasure it. Show up. Be honest. And if you're wondering whether you'll get a second chance after breaking that trust, let me save you some suspense. You won't. Because for them, loyalty isn't just given, it's earned, cherished, and fiercely protected. Wouldn't you want the same? Number 8. They don't just think, they analyze everything. Here's something you should know. INTJs can't turn off their analysis mode. It's like a default setting in their brains. Whether it's a simple conversation, a major life decision, or even why the neighbor always parks slightly crooked, they're mentally dissecting it all. Picture a scientist in a lab, carefully examining every variable. That's them, but with life. They're not just thinking, they're optimizing. It's not about dwelling or overthinking. It's about uncovering the best possible outcome. So, if you're sharing an idea with an INTJ and they suddenly suggest 10 ways to improve it, don't be alarmed. That's how they show we care. Think about it. Wouldn't you want someone in your corner who spots inefficiencies before they become problems? While some might see their constant analysis as exhausting, they see it as empowering. It's how they navigate life with purpose and precision. Sure, it might seem intense at times, but hey, perfection doesn't come from a half-hearted effort. And let's be honest, isn't it fascinating to have someone who can turn a casual conversation into a brainstorm for world domination? So, the next time an INTJ starts fine-tuning everything from your weekend plans to your business strategy, remember, it's not criticism, it's their way of helping you level up. Trust me, the world is a lot better when you see it through an INTJ's analytical lens. Understanding INTJs isn't about changing them, it's about appreciating their quirks. If you see the genius behind their walls and the passion in their plans, you'll realize something amazing. INTJs don't just want to be understood, they want to change the world. If you found this video helpful in understanding INTJ personalities and their mindset, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it on social media, and let us know how helpful it was in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.